pleasure that the book would not be destroyed as I had planned. It continued falling into that starry expanse of which I had only a fleeting glimpse. I've tried to speculate where it might have landed, but I must admit that such conjecture is futile. Still, questions about whose hands might one day hold my Myst book are unsettling to me. I know my apprehensions might never be allayed, and so I close, realizing that perhaps the ending has not yet been written.
Hey peeps, Game of Drike here. Welcome to the new game Myst. And I say new game, Myst isn't exactly a new game. It was first created in 1993, but this is a remastered 3D version of the game, which the original was more of a point-and-click puzzle type game. It was epic for its time. I've played it many times in the past, which does mean this isn't a blind run through, because I have played it before, but not for many years. We'll see how we do. Let's get started. Let's follow the instructions and move forward to Myst. Okay, here we are. Let's take a look around. We have a sunken boat, some birds, buildings, a doorway maybe. Let's start with the doorway. That's what's close. You might as well have a look at what we have. Into some sort of cave. Ooh. Some sort of holographic projection device. Okay, something on the wall there. Come back to that. And that is the power switch by the looks of it. Okay, what's on the wall? Settings, dimensional imager, topographical extrusion test 40, marker switch diagram 47, water turbulent pool 67. Okay. Is that a button? It is. Okay, so 67 was the water turbulent pool, 47. I don't know if that's actually done anything, is the marker switch diagram. Okay, so now we know what a marker switch is. Okay, fine. And what was the other one? The test, the topographical extrusion test. 40. Missed. And that is what we've got. Okay. So we've learned how to push buttons, and we learned what a marker switch is. Good. Doesn't seem to be anything else there. Let's have a look around. Press the escape button on your keyboard to open the menu. Okay, no, that's alright. Don't think we need the menu. There's a marker switch. Doesn't seem to do anything. Was that noise the birds? I think it probably was. Okay. Let's have a look up here. Cogwheels. Another marker switch. Doesn't appear to do anything. Okay. Let's come and have a look up here. I'm not going to play with any more of the marker switches, not so I've got a better idea of what it's doing. Some sort of device. Time and date. I saw stars when I came in. Come on, make it dark in here. Ah, yes. This is some sort of constellation setup, presumably for January the 1st. Year, time, maybe. Again, haven't got a clue what we're doing with that yet, so we shall ignore that temporarily. Marker switch. We have a building. Use the spacebar to take a picture. Okay. So is this the map of the island? Or a safe? Oh, that sort of locks on to the cogs. Ooh. Something's moving. Those look like the cogwheels and the pier, which is also where we have flipped marker switches. So maybe that's what it means. It's going to mark them on here. We'll experiment with that in a minute. Let's see what else we've got. A picture of an open doorway. A book. A picture of another doorway. Maybe the outside. Some more books. Okay, let's take this from the top. Let's start off and find out what this is. We'll work our way clockwise around the room. Doesn't seem to be doing anything. But the red page went into the book.
Why? Bring me a red page. I can't see. Need a red page, you must. Bring. Shh. I am serious. Give it up. There is one thing I need to rescue.
Okay, so I got bring me the red pages and I am Siri. Okay. Let's go and have a look at this blue book. I know I said I'll go clockwise, but I'm assuming this will give us a similar sort of message.
Serious? Are you? See you. Nah. Help me. Bring blue pages. Never. Pages. I must have the blue page. Bring them to me.
Okay, so we need to bring him the red pages and him the blue pages. So I don't know which of the two brothers we're going to trust, but maybe neither of them. Okay, what else have we got? Coming around clockwise, we have a picture. A handle that you can do something with. Okay, did the picture change? Nope, but that did. I think that's what that is a picture of. Okay, we can't actually reach the books anymore. Fine, we'll go and have a look in there in a second. Got another picture of a handle. That's the outside. Okay. So the door has closed. So presumably that will get us outside. Okay. And we have a fireplace. A fireplace that opens. With a button inside. Okay. Some sort of grid. I'm gonna guess we're gonna have to find some way of putting a correct pattern into there. Okay, let's go and have a look up here before we try and get our bookshelf back. What have we got? A room with an elevator. And that seems to be all we have. Okay, close the door and the elevator goes up. So we were in the library. Where's this going to? The tower. Tower is a circular room. Okay, with some dates. Come back to that at some point. Make a note of them. What's out here? And we're looking at a ship. Okay, so I think I know what's going on here. Let's go back down the stairs to the library, and I think that picture on the wall with the knob is pointing currently to the ship. Which it is. So I think the next thing to do is to get access to outside again. I want to look at these books first. We'll have a quick look at these books. Channel wood. Okay, a lot of writing. We'll have a look through that. Stone ship. The Selenetic age. Mechanical. A cogwheel. And that, okay, the instructions for the fireplace. Presumably we need to figure out which pattern we need. And I think that's it. We can't, these stone ones don't open. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 books that, well, they tell us about some of the story. We'll look at it now in a moment. But first, let's wander around and have a look at the rest of this island and turn on all these marker switches that we can. So we have some sort of spaceship. We can't get into yet. spaceship is powered from this room here. So we'll turn on this switch and take a look down, see what we've got. Another elevator. Not an elevator, a generator room. Okay, we'll need to figure that one out. Here we go. Power to ship, generator switches. Okay, don't know what to do there yet. We'll need to find that information out. Go back up. We've got a clock tower with some device that changes the time. I'm guessing we're going to have to find a time and set it. There's this marker switch there which we can't do anything with because I can't reach it. It's a safe. Which is locked, of course. A picture of a tree trunk. Boiler. Doesn't appear to be doing anything. It sounded like gas escaping. Okay, we'll figure that out. Oh, here's the tree, which goes down into there. Okay. Back to the centre here, we've got these televisions, something. Arrow. Are they all the same? Nope. Leaf. Let's turn this marker switch on. We've got a ship that's sunk. Probably mimicking that one. Yeah, there's a marker switch. And I think we turned these two on. Okay, let's go back and see whether this gives us any more. Oh yes, it gives us plenty more. Okay, so we need to figure out what to do with these. So we've got the cogwheels, we have the pier, we have the tree, we have the generator, we have the ship in the middle of the sunk. This is the building we're in, and we have the stone ship, and we have the clock out here somewhere, either there or here, but we can't access that yet because we can't get to the marker switch. So we can get to one. There's nothing in the center. Okay, 1, 2, 3, 4. And there's some movement. Where's the door? I think what's moving is that place we were just looking out of. Yeah, there's that little slot we were looking out of. And now we're looking that way. Okay. So we're looking at the tree at the moment. Out of all the books here, the one called Channelwood seems to have a wood in the title. So we've got the stone ship. It's got the ship in the title. The Selenetic Age of Myst. Not sure which one that one is. The mechanical. And the patterns for the fireplace. Let's start with this first book. Now, are we going to read all this? Yes, we are. Okay, so how we're going to do this is I will read it, but I will also, when I edit this, put a time code down below now of where to skip to if you don't want to read through this with me, and the time code will take you to that point. So that'll be the end of this book. For those that want to follow along, here we go. I have called this age Channelwood, and it is a very different world. Though it is exactly how I imagined it, it is still amazing to see it with my own eyes. Water covers this age as far as I can see, except for a small rocky island. Elsewhere there are only trees which grow directly out of the water. A myriad of thin wooden passageways are built just above the water and disappear into the forest. I assume they were built some time ago, for they appear aged. I am eager to discover more about this land and its people, but I have arrived here late, and I must rest. I was awakened this morning by strange noises coming from a pathway adjacent to the one which I had slept. I saw a group of monkey-like people heading in my direction. They had not seen me yet. I did not feel threatened by their presence. Their response to me was one that would never have expected. After staring at me for a short time, they fell to their knees and began what appeared to be some sort of ceremonial worship. I tried to speak to them, but they did not understand my language. Instead, they indicated through enthusiastic hand motions that I was to follow them. As we walked, I began to notice that the waters below us were changing colour. Slowly, subtly, they would change from deep blue to muddy orange, then from muddy orange to beautifully clear. I was so intrigued by the water, I hardly noticed we had arrived at a ladder. Climbing the ladder led us to the village, which was about 10 metres above the water, and can only be reached by rope ladders that stretch from the lower paths to the village level, approximately halfway up the grand trees. It's very interesting watching these people carry out their daily tasks. Even after watching them for hours, I did not understand exactly what they were doing. At sunset, they motioned for me to follow them. I followed the creatures to the doorway of an enormous hut. Strangely, once inside, I find the hut appeared even larger than it had from the outside. The walls were garnished with bright metals, and in the centre of the hut sat the leader of these people. At least, he appeared to be their leader, for he sat a metre off the floor in a thick throne. Guards surrounded the strong creature, who was dressed in many exotic, colourful fabrics. Next to the leader sat a very old human. At least, to some extent, he appears human. His hair, which was only on his face and head, was completely grey, almost white, and hung very long around his frail body. His thin head hung limply by an almost grotesque neck that could not hold its head up to look at me. But, what a surprise! This creature could speak my language. Shortly thereafter, I was given a bed with some hand motions that looked to be telling me to go to sleep. I look forward to learning more. As I suspected, the ancient creature is human, but he is old beyond his own reckoning, and he seems almost insane. However, the tree dwellers almost revere him as a god. They are treating me now in the same fashion, which makes me feel very uncomfortable. It's almost impossible to understand this old man. His voice is feeble but wild. He has adopted much of the language of the tree dwellers. He himself told me he had not spoken our own tongue in ages. He attempted to explain to me the history of this place. The following is my best translation of what he has told me. Many years ago, the humans and tree dwellers lived together in this place, which was then a vast island. They interacted very little. The humans dwelt on the ground, and the tree dwellers lived high above the humans. Occasionally, the island was disturbed by mysterious rumblings which happened randomly, some sort of tectonic or volcanic action, I suspect. The sometimes slight, sometimes heavy tremors would only last a short time, then they would stop, allowing everything to return to normal. One day, things changed. The rumblings began and grew quickly to unprecedented levels. Soon it became apparent that the entire island was sinking slowly into the ocean around them. Many of the humans died that day, but not before sacrificing themselves in order to stop the sinking of the island. The humans who lived through this catastrophe moved into the trees where they gradually died out, maybe because they were unequipped for such an environment, but I'm not sure. This is the story the old man communicated to me, although many details are very unclear in my mind. I am especially confused as to how the humans saved the island from completely sinking. In fact, I doubt the accuracy of that part of the story. The island must have stopped on its own, yet the old man believes in the truths of the story as if he had been there, and the tree dwellers worship him, and apparently all humans as if they were heroes or gods. The old man ended our conversation today with an event which I will never forget. He'd been gripping my hand tightly, murmuring something about rest and asleep. He then said, "We'd expected you to come sooner." These actions filled me with a sort of immediate dread. With much effort, he stood to his feet. I tried to help, but he pushed me away with more force than I imagined his frail body contained. The tree dwellers quietly surrounded him with very solemn faces. They then kneeled before him. He walked to each and placed his hand on their head. All the while he murmured words which I did not understand. Finally he turned to me and smiled. Then he closed his eyes and walked out of the door and off of the narrow path high in the trees. The tree dwellers were silent. They began a procession down the nearest rope ladder. As I was descending, I saw several of them pick up the body, as he'd fallen onto the lower level of the walkway, and carry it away. He was laid down at the dead end of a short pier-like structure. With the use of some potion, one of the tree creatures lit the pier on fire, and I watched as the flames engulfed him. As this strange funeral proceeded, the waters around the pier changed to dull green. This morning I awoke, finding it hard to even believe the previous evening's events. The water is a dull green as far as I can see now. For some reason, the water no longer shifts colour. As I wander throughout the pathways, the creatures watch me, curious to see what I will do next. They are constantly offering me strange objects of affection. I even found food outside the doorway to the room in which I had slept. This is a unique race of beings. I hope to learn their language soon, so that I may learn more from them. I have lived on this world for 3 months off and on, and the tree dwellers have shown great hospitality. I'm even beginning to learn bits of their language. I've decided to return home for an extended stay with my loving wife and my sons, and hopefully return to them. However, I'm sure Catherine will once again refuse. I think this age would be a wonderful experience for them all, and I at least look forward to how Cirrus and Achenar will react to its curious inhabitants. Catherine is staying behind as expected. My sons have returned with me, and they enjoy this age very much. They get along very well with the tree dwellers and are picking up their language surprisingly fast. I have no doubt it will not be too long until they can speak with the tree dwellers much better than myself. I'm leaving tomorrow to check on the Osmonian age. Cirrus has suggested that I allow him and his brother to stay, though the idea unsettles me. I know the boys are growing up rapidly. The hospitality of these creatures is such I could think of no better place to leave them alone for a short while, so I will consent to their request. I warn the boys not to take advantage of the respect that the tree dwellers have for their ideas. They seem to understand my warning, and I have faith they will follow it. Much to my dismay, upon arriving in the Everdunes, I learnt that Pran and her people are continuing to be menaced by the Cathotic. I fear their survival, and plan on returning to her shortly. After checking on Cirrus and Achenar here, see Everdune's journal for more information. After watching Cirrus and Achenar, I see they're handling things very well, and I think I can put to rest any fears about leaving them in Channelwood again, and for a little longer time. The tree dwellers seem slightly distressed that I'm leaving, but are happy that Cirrus and Akinar are staying behind again. I've been gone for over 3 days and have been to many different places. I had to tell Cirrus and Akinar about Pran's death today, and they were visibly shaken, although they only remember her from their childhood. Catherine has suggested that it would be wise for Cirrus and Akinar to leave Channelwood for a while, and I have to agree. They'll be returning with me when I leave again. I have told my sons that they will be returning with me in 2 days. They've spent the entire night telling me of an adventure they experienced in my absence, and it was rather remarkable. It seems they constructed a boat with the creatures and travelled some way out into the surrounding waters. I enjoy hearing them talk excitedly of their adventures, and am reminded of my own adventures as a child. I finally understand why the tree dwellers have been giving me many of their inks and insisting I write with them. Looking through some of my past entries, I now see that the inks have changed from the black I thought they were to various different colours. I have shown some of the creatures my journal, and they laughed and howled. I did not know they had such a sense of humour. Even now, as I look through this very colourful journal, I cannot help but laugh myself. We'll be returning tomorrow, so my sons are with the creatures for the last night here. They have told me they would like to come to Channelwood again, and also asked if they can visit some other ages alone. Though I will have to think over their request, I believe they have proven to me that they are trustworthy and responsible. Catherine will also have to help me decide whether they are ready for travel alone. For now, I must give my farewells to the creature, for I do not know how long I will be until I visit this age again. Okay, and then we have a map of, I'm guessing, of Channelwood, and a picture of maybe some one of the huts. Okay, so that is Channelwood. That is the intro to Myst, and in the next episode we will make our way from here to Channelwood and see what we can find. So for now, if you've enjoyed, please leave a like and subscribe. Thanks for watching, and until the next time in Myst, take care. Bye now.